Today we will be starting with the third module. The third module is time domain analysis. Module 3 we have completed till now module 1 and module 2. So module 2 was block diagram and signal flow graph. Now module 3 is time domain analysis. So the second part of module 3, root stability criteria, TJF sir has already completed it. Try solving more problems in that. So I'll be starting the first part of module 3. We'll be starting with the first part of module 3, time domain analysis. So you have few of these topics mentioned here: standard test signals, time response of first order and second order system, steady state errors and problems on that, and different types of control system. So coming to the introduction, in this module we will be knowing about what is the meaning of time response, why it is important, and what are the test signals we are using, and why standard test signals are to be used, and what is the time response of first order system, second order system, and what are the different specification we have for both transient analysis, time response, and steady state behavior of the system, and what are the different types of control system. These are the topics we will be discussing in this module. So coming to the introduction of time response of a system, just I'll first state the definition of time response of a system. Time response of a system, it is defined as the output given by any system, okay, the output given by any system when certain input is given, okay, and this input what we are giving, it is a function of time, okay. Simple way to understand is time response, as the word only says, that word time response only says what is the meaning. The response of a system, okay, the response of a system for any given input, and this input, it is a function of time, that is the meaning. So the response of any system for any given input. So this output and input what we are discussing, they are dependent on time, means they are in the time domain. So what is the response of the system, what is the behavior of the system, control system, for any time signal that is given to the system, and what are the different parts in this response, in this response, that is what we are studying. So time response analysis means studying the control system behavior to inputs that are functions of time, and studying their output which are also function of time. So this is another way of stating the definition. So I'll repeat it again. The meaning of time response analysis is what is the behavior of the control system. What is the behavior of the control system? Behavior means output of the control system, or it may be the response of a control system, we say, for any given input. Again, these two functions, means these two signals, input and output, they are function of time. So this is what we are going to study in this module, in this chapter. So there are two different ways of analyzing the response of any given system in the time domain. So one way of analyzing the system is uh, you can analyze the behavior in the form of natural response and forced response. Some of the information or concept of these things you have already studied in electric circuit analysis and even in signals and system. Another way of analyzing the time response behavior of the system is transient response analysis and steady state response analysis. Okay, I'll repeat again the meaning of time response. I'll repeat again the time domain analysis. The behavior of any system, control system specifically we mentioned, the analysis of the control system for the given input. So the input and the output what we are discussing here, they both are functions
Good
of
morning.
time. Good morning, Harsha. So there are two ways:
Good morning, everyone.
natural response and forced response. Another way is transient response and steady state response. So in this module, we will be concentrating only on this part. transient response and steady state response we are analyzing, because various specifications, various definitions or various profile of this transient response and steady state response will let us understand the behavior of the system. It will let us understand the behavior of the system. So we are concentrating on transient response and steady state response in this chapter. Okay. So coming to the introduction, how it can be approached, or how to start with the understanding of time domain and analysis. So now, hello.
I'm sorry for disturbing, ma'am. Is this the new module which you are starting?
Yeah. This is the third module. For those who have come now, I'll be just repeating. I am starting with the time domain analysis, the module 3 first part. The second part of module 3 is root stability criteria, which is already completed by TJR sir. Okay. So time domain analysis. So till now, I've just completed the meaning or definition of time response of the system. So there are two ways of analyzing. One way is natural response and forced response. Another way is transient response and steady state response. So we are concentrating on transient response and steady. Any doubt? Okay.
No, ma'am. Thank you.
Till now we have discussed system is given. The system is given in various forms. We have seen it in the form of electrical system or mechanical circuit, or it may be in the form of block diagram, or it may be in the form of signal flow graph, or some equations are given. Means given a system, we get a model of a system. Model of a system is nothing but the mathematical equation. So once you get the applying different laws and rules, when you get the model of a system, we can easily arrive to the transfer function of the system, the relationship between the output and input as a ratio. Okay, in the S domain we call it as transfer function. So when any system is given, it can be given in any form. It can be in the form of circuit diagram with all circuit components, or it may be in the form of block diagram, or it may be in the signal flow graph type. Using different methods, using different laws, or using different procedures, you can derive the transfer function. So once the transfer function is ready, that is the model of the system. So once the model of the system is ready, you need to analyze its behavior. So that is what we are going to study now. It can be, again, it can be interconnected system. So it can be interconnected system. Even this interconnected system we have seen in the form of block diagram, and each block representing one subsystem with its transfer function. Okay, we have seen the interconnected system also. And in interconnected system, we have seen how to get the transfer function using block diagram reduction method or signal flow graph method. Okay, so getting up to the transfer function of a system, that is the meaning of modeling of a system. So I'll repeat again, once the system is known, or if you are planning to design any system, you know what is the output required from the system and what are the available inputs you have. So based on some relations or mathematical dependency, you may include some circuit design, some circuit as a part of the system, so that you get the desired output. So once the circuit is the circuit diagram in the form of circuit diagram, it can be in the form of block diagram or in the form of signal flow graph, you can get the transfer function. So once the transfer function is available, we say the circuit model is ready, mathematical model is ready. So once the model is ready, you need to check the performance of the system, means how it is behaving for any given input. So sometimes, most of the time, what happens, the simple system, you know what is the input given. It may be some voltage at certain voltage level, or it may be some AC voltage with certain RMS value, or it may be DC voltage, or it may be some other form of energy. It can be. It can be in the form of some applying the force or something like that. So input will be known and input expected output also will be known. But how the system is behaving uh, to get to give this output, that is what we need to analyze. So that is the part what we will be studying now. So once the system is modeled, that means once the mathematical equation is ready, we need to check the behavior or we need to check the performance of the system. So that is what we are going to study now for any given input, for any practically given input. But now, for studying purpose, for understanding the concept, or when the system is ready, we may not directly apply the practical input signal to the system to check its behavior, but we may apply only the standard test signals. So, for this reason, we may have to know what are the test signals that can be given. So, for example, say model or the system I was telling. Say for a simple way to understand is, say we go for DL test, driving license uh, test we go. So the system, now the system is ready. What is the meaning of a system? The system here itself is nothing but the person who is going for DL test. So what is the meaning of like how it is the system? We are checking about whether the person is having the learning license, whether he has undergone any training under any school or any other way of practice, do whether the person knows some simple traffic rules. So what are the requirements a person should have for a driving? Okay, so when a person goes for a driving test, so this a person itself is a system. The person with the prerequisite knowledge or prerequisite information or prerequisite materials what he should have. So in this case, person should have the learning license. The person should have had some practice of driving, maybe under any school or maybe by himself, and also some traffic rules, knowledge about traffic rules are to be known. The person with all these requirements, he becomes a system in this case. So when he goes for a driving test, there the officer will be checking for like he may tell the person, the officer may tell the person to go straight, or he may tell the person to take sharp turn, left turn or right turn, or he may tell him to do take the U turn, or maybe some track will be there in the form of 8, the digit 8, or maybe he'll be told to take a reverse or how to do the parking. Some standard way, some standard things which we come across while driving, these things will be tested. The person will not be put to drive in some hilly areas or some unpredictable paths and all. Okay, so when the person goes for test, he'll be tested with certain uh, fixed actions. So this is the simple example to understand. A model is ready, but the model is not tested with the actual scenario or the actual input. Before doing that, the system, the person will be tested with only the standard types of actions or standard things which we usually come across while driving, like U-turn, sharp right turn or left turn, or maybe some curve paths or reverse or parking. All these things only will be tested. So this is the simple example to understand why a system has to be tested with the standard signal. Another example to say, say suppose we are going for an interview. So when we go for a interview, say for example, say software engineer goes for an interview, say maybe for the post of C programming. So the model of a person itself is a model now. So that person may be having some BE degree or some graduation required for it. Maybe the model requirements, maybe the CGPA of the person, or maybe the list of courses he has studied in his graduation course, or maybe the list of training programs he has undergone, or the internships what he has undergone. So a person with all these things become the model. And when he go for the interview, the interviewer, he may not ask about the real world programming things or real world projects. He may not ask. He may just ask some questions about Maybe say for example, since he has come for the post of C programmer, maybe he'll be asked with the questions related to say pointers, or maybe the looping concept, maybe the functions or linked list, or maybe some sorting algorithm, or maybe some interconnection with the database. Few things related to the programming concept he'll be questioned about. So these questions was the interviewer or the panel people are asking the person. So these are the some sample questions. So these sample questions will let him understand what is the knowledge of the person who is attending the interview. He'll be tested for what is his capability. If any particular real world project work is given, what will be his performance. See, this performance of the system, the performance of any person tested with all these things may differ from person to person. It differs maybe because of his language, maybe he's good at some things of C programming, maybe he's having good CGPA but not very good in writing instant programs. Various factors are there based on which the performance of the system will depend upon. So some people, some maybe very fast programmer, very fast, maybe very with average coding concepts. Maybe another person may be very efficient in writing codes, but he may be very slow in writing the codes. So there are various factors based on which the system performance can be analyzed. So these two examples are let you understand why the time response is important and why test signals are used, because real world signals may be quite complicated. It may not be deterministic signals. Most of the time it may be random signals. So many system you may have wherein you may not know its input itself. Okay, you may not know the input itself. So in that case it is very difficult to analyze the system. So it's always better to know the system's behavior for some standard signals. See, most of the electrical and communication system, the input to the system will be known. Okay, always will be known before time. But in many practical systems, for example, say it is a radar tracking system or some anti-aircraft missile system. So in that case, the input itself will not be known ahead of time. So in such cases, it is very difficult to analyze the system. It's very difficult to design a control system for its functioning, proper functioning of the system. For all possible types of inputs, it is very difficult to analyze. So what usually we do is, any system design, we will be testing the system with the standard, all possible standard signals. The properties of these standard signals are known to us. So we can check with the behavior of the system for the, yes, Arsha, for the standard signals. Yes, Arsha?
Ma'am, so in this model, what we are trying to do is nothing but we are taking a system, providing some known inputs like step, impulse, and ramp, and determining the output whether you're getting or not.
Yes, yes. Okay. So as I was telling with two examples, okay. So there in those two examples, the person who goes to get the driving license, he will not be put into the place or the track where it is like very difficult to drive. Okay, only with the samples or some typical cases. So usually typical cases, what we come across while driving is the straight path, the right turn, left turn, U-turn, sudden brake, maybe parking, all those things, right? Similarly, any system developed, we will be first testing it with the standard signals. So standard signals, then it is put into actual task where it has to take up the real world inputs. So the real world inputs for us, most of the time electrical, as I told, electrical, communication, mechanical systems and all, the type of inputs will be known. Okay, the profile of the input will be known. So it's very difficult for the cases where the inputs are not known before time. So for such system, it's very difficult to analyze the behavior. Though it is not impossible, it is difficult to analyze the behavior. Maybe the constructing of the control system for such systems will be difficult. Maybe it is very challenging. but it's not impossible. It may take lot of effort to understand the mathematical modeling, to test with the performance, to check with its transient response, all those things. But it's not impossible, but it will be quite difficult. So as I was telling, a system when it once it is modeled, to check the once it is modeled to check the performance of the system, okay, we will subject the system to standard signals. So standard signals we will apply for the system and see how the system is performing and what should be the desired output for the given input. So for the electrical system, once this or for any system where the control system is needed, once the system is designed, it is tested with the standard signals. So once we are telling that we have to test with the standard signal. So what are the standard test signals we have to consider? So the standard test signals, what we usually consider, as we all know, it is step signal, impulse, ramp, parabolic, sinusoidal waveform, exponential signal. These are the various test signals. So once the test signals are used for testing, we can know how the system responds to the known input. Okay, so some of the standard test signals are, again, these standard test signals what we consider, uh, there are many important things which we need to understand. Why only these signals? Okay, how they are related with the system behavior, what actually which behavior of the system can be related with these test signals. Even those things are very important to be understood. So let us start with the different types of test signals. The first one is impulse signal. You know what is the meaning of impulse signal? Impulse signal is present only for time 0. It is having infinite magnitude, and for other values of time not equal to 0, the signal is equal to 0. Okay, and area under the impulse curve, it is equal to unity. Unity impulse signal, we say. You already know what is the meaning of impulse signal, what are the properties of impulse signal, and how important impulse signals are. So if you carefully understand the meaning of impulse signal actually represents a sudden shock. Okay, see, when any shock appears, okay, electric shock also, if we come across electric shock also, once we know that it is shock, we don't keep our hand there itself, right? We will not be just experiencing what is shock, right? Immediately, within a fraction of second or within a fraction of millisecond, we will take out our hand, right? So that is present only for uh, time 0, like only one time, only one instant, right? With larger magnitude, the impact is large, right? So this represents the sudden shock. So when any system is present, that system may be subjected to sudden shock. It is not intentionally subjected. For some reason, for some fault that is appearing in the system or a part of the system, or maybe one component in the system, can be subjected to sudden raise in the signal, which may damage that part of the circuit. So with larger magnitude or infinite magnitude, but shorter duration, shortest duration, I can say. So therefore, impulse, using it as a test signal, becomes very important. We are not just treating the impulse signal as a line with arrow mark present at t is equal to 0. It has a meaning. Okay, what actually impulse signal says? It is a signal having larger magnitude. We usually say ideally it is infinite magnitude at t is equal to 0 only. So such type of signal is a signal we come across for a shock, when a system is subjected to shock or a shock signal. Okay. Therefore, impulse, when you are testing the system for impulse signal, you are testing the behavior of the system for any shock signal. Okay, any sudden high magnitude signal, if it is occurring for a shorter time period, how it behaves can be understood if we are testing the circuit or the system with the impulse signal. That is the advantage of going with the impulse signal. The second type of signal is step signal. A step signal, you know that it is a signal having a constant magnitude, having constant magnitude, having constant magnitude, and uh, after t is equal to 0. The signal constant magnitude is like a step signal. If you take it as a unit step function, then the function is having 1 for t greater than or equal to 0, and for t less than 0 it is equal to 0. And this, again, meaning, understanding the meaning of step signal, the meaning of it is a sudden change. There is a sudden change in the input. See, step signal, it goes from 0 level to the next level, and that is the only one level possible in unit signal, unit step signal. 1 minute, and those who have not given their attendance, please type in the chat. Hema, any doubt? Hema? Hema, can you hear
No.
me?
Yeah, ma'am.
Okay, okay. No, you have put please, ma'am. Is it present? So I thought any question you're waiting with. Okay. Understand the profile of the signal. Step signal is having only two levels. Okay. So mathematically speaking, it is 0 level and one more, the next level, the maximum level or whatever the defined level, constant level we have to be defining. So the meaning of that is there is a sudden change in the signal appearing at t is equal to 0, and it is changing from one level to another level. So there is a sudden change in the level of the signal, but it is not for the shorter duration. That is the difference between impulse and step. So if a system is subjected to any sudden change in the signal, how the system behaves. So that can be understood if you are using step signal as a test signal for the system. So it can be sudden change or sudden disturbance. Say for example, we are applying some DC voltage to the circuit. So we are switching on the lab experiments only. What we do, we completely rig up the circuit, right? And we switch on the supply at one instant of time. So when we switch on the supply from 0 voltage to whatever the voltage you're applying, maybe 8 volts or 10 volts or whatever you're applying, suddenly that voltage is applied at that instant. At that instant, I am highlighting, it need not be always t is equal to 0. Okay, it is at one instant there is a sudden change in the input from one level to another level. So if I want to understand the behavior of the system, wherein the input is changing from one level to another level, suddenly there is a change from input from one level to another level. So how the system is going to behave, I want to understand that. So that understanding, that behavior can be known with the step used as the input signal. So it can be sudden change in the given signal, or it may be the sudden disturbance. So in this case, whatever the change that is occurring from one level to another level for the input, that change happens at one instant, and the other level is held for some time, at least some finite value of time it is held. Okay, then only it is called as a step. If it again comes back to the same level, it becomes impulse, right? So when any system has to be analyzed for such type of signal, we can use the behavior of the system for step input. We can understand the time response of the system for step input. That will let us understand for any sudden change, for any sudden disturbance occurring on the system, how the system is going to behave. Next type of signal is ramp signal. So ramp signal, you know what is the profile of ramp signal? Linearly varying signal, constant varying signal, Okay, constantly increasing signal is called a RAM. Okay, again the slope of this, suppose if I write it as a graph and a line, the slope of the line can be anything. Okay, it need not be unity. If it is the slope of the signal, if it is unity, we call it as unit RAM. So any system, if you want to understand its behavior for some constant time varying signal, I'm stressing upon that constant time varying. Okay, it should be linear. That is very important. The slope can be anything, but it should be linear. Say for example, I want to test the velocity of the car. Okay, so velocity of the car, if I want to test what is the change in the what is the rate of change of velocity, or what is the rate of change of displacement, if I want to check for the car. So in that case, ramp signal is very helpful. Say I want to know what is the speed of a car. Okay, if you want to know what is the time taken by the car to reach to 100 kilometer per hour, so in that case ramp is a type of input what we usually we can relate. Say some car may take 5 seconds, some car may take linear velocity I'm talking about, some car may take some 6 seconds, and some car may take 30 seconds or more than that, and some cars may not go to that 100 kilometers per hour itself because of various factors, whatever it is. So whenever we are talking about linear varying signals, whenever we want to understand the behavior of the system for linearly changing time signal, okay, constant, with a constant increase, okay, that d by dt what we say, if that is constant, then it can, such type of signal can be related to ramp signal. So this ramp signal, it is also called as constant velocity signal. The linearity what we are talking about, the slope can be anything, but it is constantly varying with respect to time. Okay, so that behavior. Hello.
Ma'am, if we give just impulse and step response, and if we study the output of that, won't that be sufficient for the system? Ma'am? Why should we again give RAM?
It is that's very limited test what you are conducting. So you always may not come across only the sudden shock or only the sudden disturbance, right? You may say, for example, in some simple way to understand, maybe some circuit, practical circuit we are talking about. I want to know how the voltage is changing for the change in time. Or this example only, car example only I told. If you want to check the velocity of the car, it is again nothing but the time varying signal. Okay, what is the meaning of velocity? Dx by dt, right? Okay, so always we are talking about general system, right? General control system we are talking about, not exclusively for electrical circuits. So general behavior of the system, when you take, you may come across many complicated type of behaviors. So sometimes these standard signals what we have, some list of around 6 to 8 signals what we have, that may not be sufficient also. Okay, that may not be sufficient at all. So in that case, like all possible, again, it depends upon the requirement of the system. That is important. So based on the requirement of the system, these are these are the list of standard signals what we have, which can be used for testing the behavior of the system. You need not use all of them for testing the signal, right? So when a system is designed, you know what is the required output. So for that, what are the various types of input it may come across? So based on that, you select the input, test signals, and you can test the behavior of the circuit. Yes. Next type of signal is, what is the next level for ramp? Anybody?
Parabolic.
Parabolic. Okay. One order of the signal increases by 1 now. Okay. So now parabolic signal, this is another type of another type of test signal. Again, I am telling, all are not compulsory to be used for all the circuits. Okay. Based on the need only, you need to suppose you know that this system will be always subjected to DC signal. Okay. In that case, you need not check with the ramp or parabola or sinusoidal signal. So you can check only with the impulse and step signal. So it is based on again the system's need. Okay. So parabolic signal, you know the profile of the signal. It is the constant acceleration what we have dv by dt type. Okay.